Uh-oh.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Leila and Arash. I don't know if Arash is connected for the invitation. It's really a silver lining, like the Americans say. This pandemic is getting us together, at least for me, with all these friends that are so far away from all over the world. So I thank you for coming. As about me, real quick, I was born and raised in Caracas, Venezuela. When I was little, I had a great life, like all of us. Venezuela was on the top of the countries. And when I was 16 years old, I was very young when I graduated high school. So my parents decided to send me to boarding school to Switzerland. So that was my first reinvention. When I got there, I missed my family so much that I was crying so much that my mother was worried that my life was in danger. So, I mean, it was a great opportunity for me to develop and grow. Then I arrived back in Venezuela, and a few weeks later, my father passed away. So I had to reinvent myself again without wanting. Sometimes you decide to reinvent yourself, sometimes you just have to. So me and my mom and my brothers had to start working at my father's business. And afterwards, I got married really young. I had my children really young, and I joined VITSO, which is a Jewish organization of women that's international. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But that was the best reinvention I ever had. After that, I divorced, and I had to go back to the real world and work. So I got a job at the only English newspaper in Venezuela called The Daily Journal. In the beginning, I was the marketing and sales manager, and we revamped the whole newspaper. And 3 months later, I got promoted to be the general manager. After I left that job, I went back to school because I felt I needed to do something special with my life. And I went to study at IESA, which is like a higher education institute in Venezuela. And that changed my life again completely. After that, I opened a public relations agency of my own. And then one of my clients, Activalores, which is a wealth management firm, hired me to be a vice president and bring in new clients. So that was a whole new world for me, the financial world, being a financial advisor, and I've been with that group for many, many years. Then in 2009, I decided to move to Israel from Venezuela. And I found a job in Israel as an area sales manager for Sharon Labs. And what they do is produce preservatives for cosmetics. So you can imagine that from selling financial products or newspaper ads, I was selling chemical products. So that was another reinvention. Finally, in 2009, when I was moving to Israel, I found my high school sweetheart, Rafael, on Facebook, and we reconnected after so many years. And in 2013, 4 years later, I emigrated again to the United States, and I moved to Los Angeles. So when I moved here, I was looking for something to do with my life that had meaning and that I could use all my experience of raising funds, of sales and marketing, and knowing the client, how to identify what the client needs, and also the financial background that I had. And that's when I decided to become a life insurance agent. I'm independent, and I do risk management, and that's what I've been doing professionally since then. I also joined several nonprofit organizations like the Opera League of Los Angeles and an organization that feeds the homeless called Under the Bridges and on the Streets and others. So quickly, this is the story of my life and how I had to in many ways, many times, reinvent myself. So let's talk about reinventing. Some people would say to reinvent or not to reinvent. So that is the question. COVID-19 is here, and we cannot control what is going on, right? The only thing we can control is our reaction, how we are going to behave. The Kabbalah says that there are two ways, action versus reaction. Reaction is like the Murphy law. If anything will go wrong, everything will go wrong. So that's darkness. It's like when you wake up in the morning and you say, oh, you know, I have all these problems. You are for sure making your day a bad day. As where action is like you keep busy, energy flows, there's light. And then you wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to have good news. I'm going to work to have a great day. I mean, work on myself. Correct? So sometimes we, oh my God, I'm not sharing my screen. I'm sorry. Oh, God. I should have been sharing this. I'm sorry about that. Here. So first we have to start by giving thanks for everything we have and count our blessings. And think that we have to do something for ourselves, but also for the other people. So I will share with you 5 tools that I developed during my life that helped me reinvent myself. First of all, you have to define what you want in life. What is your purpose? What are your values and your goals? Meditation helps you because you clear your mind and then the ideas come to you. Imagine yourself like you are observing the landscape from above. This is what the leadership experts call a balcony perspective, okay? And then you say, what is success for me? What is happiness for me? And then you look at each and every one of the things that you want for yourself and you write it in a piece of paper. I have my piece of paper here and I have written, you know, everything that I feel that is important in my life. I will give you a tip. You know, for everybody, things are different. For me, friends is something really important because you can make a list of the values that you are looking in the people that will surround you, your friends and your family. And then you take those people who are in the same line with your values and you meet with them as much as possible. Whereas the people who are not nurturing, then you have to get away from the people who are toxic. So I think that friends, for example, is something very important. Some people believe that, you know, they don't know what their passion is, what career they can follow. So for example, Barbara Corcoran said, if you don't know what your passion is, go to a bookstore and see what themes, what books attract you. For example, helping others. Is there helping others give you satisfaction? You don't know where to start. Maybe you can make a difference in the life of one person and that will give you a lot, I think for me, a lot of satisfaction. So in my case, for example, when I moved to Israel, everybody said that I was crazy because I had a great life, a great apartment, wonderful friends. My mom and my brothers were in Venezuela and they said, why are you moving to Israel? But I was lacking something very important in my life. I wanted to be with my kids and they were in Israel. And also I wanted to find love. And for some reason, I felt that in Venezuela, I wasn't going to find it. So I put my priorities in order and I meditated. And then comes the next step, which is find mentors. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, your professors, your boss, your clients, and ask them what they think about an idea that you had, what they think about you, what you are good at. And then don't get mad if you don't like their feedback, okay? Because sometimes they say something very sincere, but you can use it to improve yourself or to improve your business. Well, when you have, your goals in a piece of paper and you meditate and you ask for advice, the next step is to take the risk. You take the risk and you believe in yourself, okay? I will always regret what I didn't do, but I will never regret what I did. There is a very close correlation between perseverance and taking a risk. I will give you an example. You know the book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, right? That's the book they sold 5 million copies of that book. You know how many times the publishers rejected that book? 244 times. So imagine if the writers didn't insist over and over again, what would have happened? In Venezuela, learning is, first of all, I want to say learning is the most important thing, and everything you learn will be good for something in your life. In Venezuela, in the 1970s, many of you remember, we had a secretary of the intellectual development, Luis Alberto Machado. That's something that sounds weird, but he was trying to teach the Venezuelans that anybody can achieve anything they want in their lives if they do 3 things: to want, to believe, and to learn. So in Spanish is querer, creer, y aprender. So every time I reinvented myself, I either had to go back to school, get a license, learn another language, get a degree. From, like I told you, I was selling financial products or newspaper ads, and then I had to study chemistry and convince formulators to buy preservatives for cosmetics. So, my friend and mentor, Roberto Weinrup, who most of you have met, he told me when I moved here that whatever I decided to do, I had to get a license, because here in America, you need a license literally for everything, even for a haircut. Although with this pandemic, Rafael, my husband, risked his neck to me and let me cut his hair without a license. But I went to YouTube University. So I did my learning. My first experience as a volunteer was with VITSO. My mom was a member of VITSO. VITSO, as I said, is an international Jewish organization for women. It's all around the world. And it was the best school of my life. I mean, the satisfaction of helping others. There are no words to describe it. It's the friends I made, the fun we had, the learning I learned. I mean, we still meet up to this date. In this very meeting, there are many friends from VITSO, and we are very close friends. So, the thing is that I realized that women from other countries that came to Venezuela to live, they joined VITSO. Why? Because they wanted to belong to a community. They wanted to help society, and they wanted to make friends. So when I moved here, I decided to belong to the Opera League of Los Angeles because I love opera. And I volunteer at cast dinners, at education events for children, and other fun things that we do. And I met new friends. And right now I'm in the board of directors, which is a great honor. But for me, one of the best perks is that I get to see the opera dress rehearsals. So this is very exciting for me. So let's talk about a little bit about how to reinvent your business. I believe that in this time, there are many opportunities. So you can diversify your business, or you can see how your business can adapt to the situation. During a normal business environment, there are always opportunities, but right now there are many more. Just get out of your panic mode, put on a hat that says, I'm an entrepreneur, inform yourself, be sensitive about what's going on, and above all, do things to help people. There is a book that I love called The 10X Rule, and the author is Grant Cardone, and he says, you have to do 10 times whatever you did before in order to get results. So I'm going to give you some tools that I think are important. First of all, you see it everywhere, from parents struggling to employers trying to keep their teams together, working remotely, or people that are stuck at home and they feel lonely. I mean, there is a target audience out there, for sure. I love a book called 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, and the author is Yuval Harari. And he says, imagine this, that every human being will have to reinvent themselves 5 times in their life, because a robot will take every single job that there is, except for caregivers and raising children. So look at yourself from the balcony perspective and try to think if your profession can be done by a robot. And look at different scenarios in your imagination. Again, use meditation to do that. And then ask yourself, do I have a website? Am I in the front page of Google? Do I have a robot answering questions 24/7 if somebody goes to my website? Use social media to educate your clients. And if you can, give things for free online. For example, the Metropolitan Opera is giving all the operas for free. You can just go online every day, a different opera. So people have to know that you are there, you are visible. And right now, online is the thing to go. Contact all your clients, all your friends, and especially do more networking. Right now it's easier than ever. Join BNI, join a chamber of commerce, your association, depending on your profession. Call people that are more successful than you and ask them, how can I help you? And then offer your help even if it's for free. It will pay back in the future. And one thing that you can do is be a mentor to somebody. Even if you don't think you can always teach somebody, and that will be very fruitful for you in the future. Collaboration. This is an example that my son sent me. So the Vans sneakers that everybody knows, they did a contest and they wrote to all the surf shops, the restaurants, the art galleries, and said, send me a design for a sneaker. They chose 100 sneakers and they made them into shoes, and they are selling them online. So this builds, and then the profits are going to those people, to those stores that are closed during the pandemic. So for example, if that sells one and all the shoes that this design will sell, the profits will go to that company. This is an example where the client gets engaged with your company and they feel good about buying from your company. Another example is Showfields, which is a retail store that involves contemporary art. And they are doing Instagram lives every week with art curators, and all the proceeds are going to the New York City Food Bank and other charities. So that's a great way to collaborate and give. Your client needs to feel safe for whatever you are providing. If it's packaging, delivering, if it's signing documents, if it's whatever you're doing. For example, in my field, many life insurance companies are offering that people don't have to do the medical labs. They can do the application without blood tests. And this is something very new. And also, we are doing all the applications online, so people don't have to have somebody come to their home and draw their blood. You know, that's a big change. And last, but not least, hire a professional in public relations. Why? Because you need to tell the world what you are doing, that you are keeping your company safe, that you are doing changes, that you are offering products online, that, you know, you need to, like, for example, the LA Phil, right, the orchestra. So they're doing free concerts online. You can see it in the newspaper, in TV, and they're sending out emails. So this is very important. And many of us here in this room today are either immigrants or children of immigrants. And we have it in our blood. We know that sometimes we need to adapt and we need to innovate. So we need to do the same for our business. And like Albert Einstein said, it is in the middle of difficulty that one finds opportunity. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Susana, for that lovely presentation. I'm just gonna continue this conversation with you before we get to our audience and their questions. The reason that I asked Susana to pick this topic and we kind of brainstormed on it, because I know that she is a financial advisor and a licensed life insurance agent, but I thought it was very timely that we discuss what's happening globally and how we need to all come together and share our experiences. And being an immigrant myself and working with my clients, I learned quickly over the years that the immigrant community, no matter where you are in the world, if you've had that experience or if your parents have had that experience, you've already been through several, like you said, transformations and reinventions. You almost have no option, right, when you immigrate to a different country, to assimilate, learn, adapt, and become a whole new person, right? And in many cases, you have to go into a different field or job because you couldn't do what you were doing in your home country, right?
Correct.
So I didn't know any other person who would be perfect to give to talk about this and work on this topic, being that she's been all over the world and has family and friends from all over the world, comes from generations of immigration and war and trauma and all of that. So if you don't mind, Susana, while you're still hosting, if you want to open up to questions, or if somebody wants to type in their questions, that would be great. And then we can have a discussion with our lovely audience.
Okay. How are you going to do this? Through the chat, or people will unmute themselves?
Yeah, I mean, if people want to type in their questions, or we can just open it up and go one by one, maybe if one person speaks at a time. So
thank you for the wonderful messages that you sent on the chat. I'll take a look at them later. Thank you.
Okay, so if you want, if you want to ask Susanna a question, a specific question about not only her experience and her background, but also let's open up having a discussion. I would love to hear everybody about. First of all, if you can introduce yourself, say your name, where you're from, where you're living in the world, and what you do, and contribute to the discussion. That would be fantastic.
I just want to add something.
Go ahead.
Because somebody is writing to me that reinventing is painful. Yes, very, very, very painful, but it is rewarding. So don't be scared.
All right. Suzanne, are you able to go through the list? There are people who have their hands raised. How about Esther? Go ahead, Esther. I don't know your last name.
Esther Leventhal. You have to unmute yourself, Esther. Esther, quítate el micrófono, quítate el mute.
Ay, Dios mío, Esther.
Esther, quita tu mute. Quita el mute.
Okay,
a la izquierda abajo, donde está el micrófono. Maybe she's on her phone.
That's okay. We'll go on to Claudia. Claudia, I know you have your hands raised. You can.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm Claudia. I'm from Santa Cruz, and I do unique promotional gifts, and I'm originally from Germany. So I am just, kind of a little bit spellbound because I never thought that it's reinventing. But I call them my different lives. I call them, this is my fifth life, my sixth lives, all these things. I love that twist. It makes me feel much better when I hear that I reinvented myself so many times. And I love all your tips, but especially I like the one with the volunteering.
Yes.
I think I would have thought of that more when I moved to the US, when I was all alone. I mean, I had my kids right away, so I didn't have much time, but this is an excellent tip. I think, the kids are bigger now, so I have started volunteering more again, and I see how much joy it brings.
Yes, it does.
It was excellent. Thank you very much. And I love the gratitude every day.
I see you in our BNI meeting the other day.
Yes, I did. Yes. It's just up my alley. That's what it's all about, building relationships and being grateful for what we have. Thank you. Wonderful.
We'll talk. I'll email you, Claudia.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Claudia.
Yeah, Esther, she unmuted herself.
Yes.
Hola.
Hello, Susie.
Hola.
My friend. Te voy a hablar en español. Vivo en Israel. A todas mis amigas de Vizo querida.
She's saying hi.
Conocimos en Venezuela. It was for me a beautiful time I had. It was one of my reinventation, like you, Susie, because yes. I'm from Brazil and I live in Israel, and I was in Mexico, and then Venezuela, and then Mexico again, and then Israel again. And all the time I have the opportunity to meet a new friends that I like very much, especially from Venezuela. It was for me a wonderful, wonderful time that I lived there. And Susie and Sally and Evelyn and Linda and so many persons that I knew there that like a new sun in my life, a new light, a new possibilities to new many different cultures. Thank you very much. It was beautiful, and learn time in Venezuela. I love you, Susie. You know that.
You know,
Thank you so much.
I want to mention that when I mentioned that I was working as a volunteer and some women who came to live, moved to Venezuela to live, and they joined Vitso, I'm talking about Esther.
Yes.
Okay, and about Sonia and other people who came from other countries, and they joined Vitso immediately to belong. So, yeah.
Yes.
Uh,
Thank you.
Susanna, I have a question. We have a question here in the chat from Pia. Pia, if you want to ask your question yourself, would you please unmute yourself?
Yes, I would like to know your opinion about procrastination, because procrastination is very, very frequent. How do you avoid it?
Well, when you go back to the beginning of the presentation about what you want in life, and you sit down with a piece of paper, try not to judge yourself, okay? And you make a list. You can, say, okay, these are the priorities that I want in my life. I see myself, or I want to be, let's say my children were in Israel, so I want to be close to them. I want to make a lot of money, so I need to find a job, or I'm happy with the job I have. So you start like writing down in a piece of paper, and then you sit and meditate, and you will start seeing clearly, visualizing yourself already there, and that will give you motivation. And then one thing that I recommend that I didn't, have time to say is to find somebody for accountability. So let's say you meet with a group of people like you once a week, every Monday. And then you say, okay, this week I'm going to do A, B, and C. And everybody says what they're going to do. So you know that next Monday, you need to have done A, B, and C, because everybody will be, judging you and telling you, hey, what happened? Why didn't you do it? So if you need help with procrastination, ask your friends, ask your family, ask for a mentor.
Can I just add, going back to the discussion of volunteering, I'm going to add my own personal experience from that I think the reason volunteering is so important is because you get to connect with people who are going through a different experience than yourself for the most part, and who need help that you may not necessarily relate to, but you get to help them and make that connection. If, for example, if you go and volunteer with the nursing homes or with the elderly, you get to see or experience life from their perspective. And it kind of sort of helps you come out of your own head, because most of the time we're stuck in our own head with our own problems, right? And we think that's it. That's our limited view of the world. So I think, although volunteering in the pandemic, I don't know, you probably wasn't easy unless you wanted to be a frontline, in the front lines with the health workers, right? It wasn't as easy as before, but the simple thing as going out, I know there was a blood shortage, so they were asking for blood. That's something you can do, and it actually helps. They say that if you volunteer, that feeling of kindness and compassion actually is good for your health. It's good for your own well-being, right? So I really, really appreciate that you had that in your slides.
I wanted to say something about volunteering and helping others right now in the pandemic. In Israel, you can call an institution that they will give you phone numbers for elderly people who are alone in their homes. So you can call them and say hi and talk to them and spend, a few minutes with them that will make them feel not so lonely. So that's one thing that if it doesn't exist, if you want to do it, you can start it. That's an idea. That's what they're doing there.
Thank you. I'm actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick on somebody here. David, are you still with us?
Yes, he is.
David Eichmann.
Yes, I am.
Hi, David. Why don't you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and share your experience? I know you've been biking all over the world.
I've been visiting BNI chapters all over the world, but just just biking in Southern California. So would you just want a little, you want a 30 seconds or do you want to?
Just do just informal introduction and tell us how you're doing in the pandemic.
So, well, I'm a business formation and contract attorney. As you can imagine, new business has pretty much evaporated. No one is thinking about starting a new business right now. And most people are just scrambling to try to keep their businesses going if they can. So I'm fortunate that I've been practicing for 32 years, so I have lots of longer term clients who have little things that need to be done on a somewhat regular basis. So I've been trying to go into my office actually a couple hours a day, generally in the afternoons, to check the mail and just to do a few things. I actually did get a referral this morning by attending a New York City BNI meeting at 4 a.m. our time with someone who needed a referral to a real estate attorney. So just hoping this isn't gonna, this will be over sooner rather than later. So, and thank you, Susana, for all your comments. You are always fabulous.
I want to say that David is a great, wonderful friend. He is the king of networking. If you want to contact him, he's amazing. And he's my BNI, one of my BNI, my BNI mentor, I would say. Yes. And now he's biking because there was supposed to be a fundraising biking, right, competition or something.
Yeah, well, for the AIDS life cycle from San Francisco down to Los Angeles, 545 miles. The ride has been canceled, but we're still doing the fundraising.
Right. So he's practicing every weekend.
No.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, David. And I see some other familiar names and faces here. So if you don't mind, I'm going to pick on you. Bruno, are you here? I saw your name.
Of course I'm here.
Hi. Hi, Bruno. Thanks for joining. How are you?
Very good. Good to see you and Susana, and great meeting. Everything that Susana speaks always is amazing. You can always hear positive energy and great message. Susana says so. She said
Bruno, can you tell us?
Can
you tell us a little bit about yourself? Actually, where you're from, and I know you have a very interesting multicultural background and what you do.
Born in Argentina from Italian parents, and moved to this country a while ago to play soccer. And while I got injured, I discovered the internet back in 1994 when nobody even had computers or emails or anything. And I saw the future of it. So I've been designing websites since then and specializing in what's called SEO, meaning placing companies on the first page of Google. And I serve both small companies and large corporations. Everybody in the world has a website, including this guy here, who's my 3-year-old son. He has a website too. But what good is a website if it can be found on the first page of Google? So anyone here that needs an audit on their website to see what issues has or why it's not ranked on the first page of Google, I'll do it at no charge. It's a very comprehensive, long report that tells you everything that needs to be done. And just like Susana said, help, and you get help and rewards coming. It's easy. And like BNI, it's a giver's gain. So the more you give, the more you get. So I'm always happy to help cooperate in anything that I can. I don't sleep enough, but that doesn't matter. I'm full of energy all day, and I love what I do. And like Susana said, also friends and family are the most important thing in life.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I want to say that Bruno designed my website. It's a very nice website. It's in English and Spanish. It's susizinn.com or susanazinn.com. And it's he's also doing my SEO, so I'm already in the first page of Google.
And if you meet with Bruno, he will bring empanadas.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I also see our chapter president, Jonathan Golding. Jonathan, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, hello. I'm Jonathan Golding. I'm a real estate and construction lawyer here in Los Angeles. I'm the president of the BNI chapter that both Layla and Susana are in. I fix, unlike David Eichmann, who does transactional type work, I fix people's real estate and construction problems. I'm one of the few people maybe on this call who's lived my entire life in Los Angeles, and almost my entire life, all I can remember. And just kind of fascinated to see all the people from all the different cultures and places on the call today. And Susana is one of my great friends, as is her husband, Raphael, and we really enjoy being involved with them in BNI and socially. And Susana is really an amazing woman who's done many things in her life, and it leaves me in awe.
Thank you, Jonathan. You too.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. I want to put a question out to see if anyone's joining us from the other side of the world, and you know, it's almost 12 a.m. If you're in the Middle East, that would be great. You could just say hi and tell us what's going on. If you want to share any experiences, anybody? Oh, there you go. And I'm also very interested to know if anybody on this call has already decided to completely change their business go in the past couple of months, because what they were doing may not be something that could be available in the future. So they had to kind of go through this personal transformation to see what could be next. If anyone is in that boat, I would love to hear about that. Yes, I have Mauricio Sanchez.
Yes.
Would you like to share?
Unmute.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mauricio Sanchez. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, perfect. I have been a personal trainer for 10 years. I've been an actor, a dancer. I've transformed myself in many, many ways. So this is very inspiring. Thank you, Susana. Susana, I have the pleasure to train Susana and pick her brain a few times a week. And the one thing that she's always done is always ask me very humbly for more information. She's always learning from everyone she meets, and that's very inspiring to me. There's so many people who are successful, and the most successful people always want to know more, and that is wonderful. And also something Susana taught me was if you need anything done, ask the busiest person, because they're the people who are going to do it for you. And it's true. The busier you are, the more you make appointments, you organize yourself, and there you are. I obviously California. I am from California. I mean, this is Hawaii. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. California right now in Los Angeles, the gyms are completely closed, and I don't think they're going to be open anytime soon. So thanks to my background in film and TV and my background in acting and knowing my light and knowing my how to use a microphone and how to use the camera, I immediately jumped into training online. And it was like very fast transition. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Oh, it will be fun to go on vacations and train people, you know, or when they go on vacations. And now I find myself, it's my new business. I am working on creating a website and making a commercial and all this, trying to promote myself, trying to put myself up in Google and stuff. What I've done is use every tool that I've dragged from my life and put it all came together. If you see this room right here, it's my spare bedroom in my house. Every day I train a client and they like to be in Malibu. I changed my background and I put myself in Malibu. Today I decided to to train people in Hawaii. So, you know, I can go to Hawaii and lay on the deck, and I make it fun. I really do. I turn music. I have my assistant Alexa play Hawaiian music, and then she starts playing Hawaiian music for me. So
there's only one detail you haven't said, Mauricio.
Okay,
Mauricio
what
is
have
from Mérida, Venezuela.
Oh, of course. Alexa, stop music. Yes, we are both from Venezuela, and I am from a tiny little town, beautiful town in Venezuela, in the Andes, where with the tallest peak in South America, it's called Mérida, Venezuela. Mérida, Venezuela. Now, again, my name is Mauricio Sanchez. I will write down my information. Anyone in this meeting is welcome to have a simple session with me. Or if you have any questions, if you just want to stretch, or if you just want to, like, if you're curious to see how it works, please contact me. I'm here for you. You got the time. I know you do. You're at home, and I can train you right there. All right?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mauricio.
I
know I've done.
He's the best.
I've done a share of online yoga because I had to, but I can't. I personally can't wait to get back into the studio. Hopefully soon. So I have here Jeffrey Bills, one of my colleagues, who's an employment defense attorney. Jeffrey, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about your own personal change?
Oh yeah, thank you so much. And Susana, that was an inspiring presentation. It's great to see so many familiar faces. So I know Susana and Layla and a few others through BNI as well. I'm a former newspaper journalist, and after what they called the Great Recession, it was time to make a change. So I went back to law school. At that time, I was obviously one of the older students, and that led to a career with various law firms, and now I'm starting up my solo practice, and Jonathan has been very helpful, along with Moth, and a few other people with BNI have been helpful in making that happen. And it's, you know, when you phrase it, Susana, as reinvention, I agree. It's a nice way to think about it, and obviously an ongoing process. So I appreciate hearing other people going through the same thing and having an opportunity to interact with all of you. Thank you.
You have done a great job, Jeffrey, from being a journalist at the Chicago Tribune to becoming a labor law attorney, very successful. So you have also reinvented yourself.
Thank you, Susana.
Congratulations, and thank you for joining us, Jeffrey. Thank you so much. So we're almost close to the end. I put here in the chat my email. If you'd like to get a copy of the recording, or actually we can forward it to whoever wasn't able to join us today, because I think it's been an amazing conversation, discussion, presentation. And just to let you know, our next Zoom meeting and lunch and learn, and by the way, this is bring your own lunch and learn from our presentations, except that our presenter actually sent me lunch today. I had lunch delivered to my office. Thank you so much, Susana. You're amazing. We got delivery from Delphi Greek, from our caterer in the group, and I had a chance to have a bite before I got into this call. Thank you so much.
Being hungry, it's not good for working.
No, I definitely am not a nice person when I'm hungry. So our next one will be May 20th, which is in 2 weeks, same time at noon. Our speaker her name is Asuka Naito, and she's originally from Japan, and she will be speaking on the mindset of a leader, okay, which is another timely subject for this time, because this is the time that we need to develop and train more and more leaders. If you have any other questions, we'll take them. Otherwise, it was really nice having everybody join us. And thank you so much to our presenter, our audience. Thank you for making this time to be with us.
Thank you, Layla. Thank you so much, everybody. Gracias por venir.
Bravo.
¡Bravo!
I'm very
Gracias, Susi. Muy nutritiva tu charla.
happy
Gracias.
your support, and you know, if I can give one tip to one person that can use it, that's worth everything.
Susanna, will you be able to to also, you can share your slices with us, right? You
Thank
can
you very
share
much.
the file while you're still hosting. You can share the file, or we can email.
My mouse is not helping me today. I don't know why. Oh, okay, here.
And then they can also, they're asking for your email, Susie.
My email, yeah. Okay. Oh God. One moment, sorry. It's just that. My email is info, like information, at susyzinn.com. SUSYZINN.com. And whoever wants my presentation, I can send them, email them my presentation, or share with them on Google Drive. Hola, Raquelita. Everybody's here. I'm so happy. Thank you. So my Instagram is Susy Zinn. I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn. You can take a photo of this and email me.
Thank you, Susie. I'm just gonna put myself back as host, and I'll let people chat until at the end of the time.
Okay. Thank you, Leila. Thank you. You want to unmute everybody?
Yeah, it's fine. And also, can you make me host again?
How do I do that?
That's a good question. I'm still learning that part. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Yeah, I stopped sharing my screen.
All right, I have everybody.
Daughters unboxing on their own.
Okay.
Yeah. If you guys take a look at the our B-roll. It's in the recap, Doug. I sent it to Ezra this morning. I'm waiting to send like the full report to everyone when the rest of the segments go live. They're going live until Saturday.
We have some
but Allison included it in the agenda that she sent over.
Okay. I see you. Okay, perfect.
So if you look at Riley, it's like the last
Hablamos.
link underneath the covered on the agenda.
I love you all.
You can see like she did the segment from her studio at home, and then
somebody has
roll of like
sounds like I'm gonna have
Brianne's video, and then they use an image of our box for the boys.
All right, everyone.
Okay.
Bye.